Dudes, welcome back to the channel. It's a lovely Monday morning. I don't know why I said it like that, but it is what it is. I really thought that we were going to get some new AllStar content, but I also forgot it's President's Day. So, you know what I mean? I completely forgot that that was a thing. So, there is no new content today. It's likely that we're going to get some of the new AllStar content that we were waiting for probably tomorrow, though I'm not 100% sure. They could just skip it altogether, but I would assume they're not going to do that based on the fact that they have, an entire lock-in situation over here. Fun, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Now, in the case of Tatum, so I talked about how the My Team lock-in was likely going to be the All-Star MVP. The fact that it was Tatum, I actually believe that actually lends credence to that theory. It's very possible. Even probable that they probably make the lock-in Tatum. I think if it was like LeBron or somebody, like they probably wouldn't do it. But if it was like somebody that is either a higher profile player like Steph Curry, that isn't overpowered in game, or somebody who's really solid in game but isn't necessarily like the biggest pack seller like Tatum, it's very possible that they would make it the lock-in. But instead of that, we got Season 4 Super Packs. Sick. I'm not opening these, by the way. I just need that to be known right off the bat. Yeah, we did. Well, we're getting the Takeover player tomorrow. They're out of the office today. That's the thing. They're literally not at work today. It's President's Day. Nobody is at the 2K development offices today. So that's why the only thing we're getting are these Season 4 Super Packs that they probably set up on Friday. So they literally probably set these up like right before they left the office on Friday evening, right? The pack odds are the exact same as the All-Star packs, like quite literally down to a T. There's, I don't think, any difference. No, I mean, the diamond is up. There's a little bit of an increased chance to pull a diamond, and obviously all the All-Star cards and everything are up here, but as simply as I can put it, no, you should not open these. I know people are going to open these in the hopes of pulling Yao Ming. I mean, that's about it. I guess maybe Magic, Ben Simmons, etc. But I don't open these. Like, the pack odds are bad. 8% chance for an opal sounds good until you realize, A, it's probably not actually 8%. And B, there's like 37 opals. So you know for an absolute fact that the rate of which Yao Ming is going to drop out of these packs is going to be so exponentially lower than the rest of these. Like, I would be willing to bet any amount of money that the drop rate on Yao Ming, Ben Simmons, Magic Johnson, and then probably, if I had to guess the fourth one, maybe Kevin Durant or Jokic. They might have tweaked the drop rate on Jokic because Jokic is like one of the more expensive cards from that set, is going to be substantially lower than the drop rate for the rest of the opals in general. What's super about them? Nothing. Super expensive. That's what it is. Yeah, everything's the same realistically. I mean, at the end of the day, they're charging you for the ability to get Yao Ming. Like, that's what it is. These aren't super packs as much as they're, hey, do you want another chance at Magic Johnson and Yao Ming packs, basically. So even if you have VC that you're interested in getting rid of for whatever reason, these are not the way to do it. The odds are bad. We got our first Dark Matters. They're only going to start pumping out Dark Matters at an increased rate. I'm not saying there's going to be another Yao type card in the near future, but there's probably going to be some either intentional or unintentional counters to Yao in the near future in the form of guys like Kristaps or like Arvydas Sabonis, etc. I will talk about the podcast too because we've got some negative reception on that I want to kind of go over, but yeah, not a whole lot of fun there. Other than that, yeah, we don't have anything to do, which I think is interesting. They also added, I don't know if it's still here. Let me talk about this for a second. The 75,000 VC All-Star Equal Chance pack. Now, the reality of this is these are going to be weighted odds for sure. You have a high probability of spending 75,000 VC on a card that's only about 40k MT. That needs to be said. Yes, there's a probability you can get Tatum or Jokic or Zion or Embiid or, you know, whoever else, or Kevin Durant that you're looking at. But the reality of the situation, you're likely to pull one of these guys: Sabonis, Drew Holiday, DeMar, Lowry Markkanen, Jaylen Brown, Halliburton, Randall, any of these guys that are under 40k. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. So, yeah, I mean, DBG pulled DeMontis. That's it's kind of the prevailing card that I've been seeing from people who open these packs, is like Sabonis and Drew Holiday. So it's important to understand that before making that decision. Once again, I personally would not open these at all in any way, shape, or form. Now, we will be getting the new AllStar cards, obviously. Wait, they raised this, by the way. This was 400 tokens a couple days ago, so now it's 1,000 tokens, but it was 400 tokens, at least as far as I'm aware. I believe they changed that at some point. Not sure when they did that, but they did. You got Sabonis, yeah. But this is probably going to be a Dark Matter Tatum. Or they could hoe it like immensely, and it's just another, you know, Opal Tatum, but I'm assuming they're going to want to sell those packs, so it's probably going to be a Dark Matter Tatum if I had to go. Well, Retro, to be honest, they won't. The reason they won't is 2K is they're very, very strict about NDAs and non-comp. So before you know, when you work for 2K, you sign a non-competitive clause, and then you also sign an NDA. So that's why you don't have a bunch of people whistleblowing. And to be honest, most people who work at 2K, they know what they're getting into from the get-go. Like, you know what I mean? Most people who work with 2K or for 2K, they understand what they're doing prior to working with them. I'm not talking about like next makers and stuff like that. Those guys don't know anything. You know what I mean? But I'm talking people who actually literally work in the 2K offices. Like, they know. They know exactly what they're getting into. They know. They know. Do we get a band wave before Season 5? Yes. Okay. So, check it out. Tomorrow, here's what's going to happen in 2K. Tomorrow. So, tomorrow, I would assume they're going to add players to this set. If they were really petty, they'd add them to Season 4 Super Packs, which they'll add them to both, technically. But there will be new players in here. We'll get Mac McClung. We'll get, like, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler. You know, Damian Lillard will get another card, probably a Dark Matter if I had to guess. Or just another Opal, because they love doing that too. Jose Alvarado will get a card. You know, everyone will get these new cards, so there'll be probably like 8 total. And then it'll lock in for the Tatum, obviously, in the All-Star Saturday stuff. They could mess around and make it a Dark Matter Matt McClung. I think I said Matt, but Mac McClung. You know what I mean? Or somebody, or like Dark Matter Dame for the lock-in. That would be hilarious. But we'll see. Either way, there's going to be a Dark Matter Tatum for sure. So, should have been tokens for All-Star equal chance. Yeah, it should have been tokens. No, I agree. And I'm still not sold that they're not going to do that, by the way. That's something that I think they might do at the beginning of Season 5, is they might throw in the token market. Because obviously that's what they did with Flash Forward, is they might throw an All-Star equal chance pack in here for like 1,000 tokens. Like, it's very possible that happens. So it's something to think about also. You know, and then we're also going to get a takeover reward card. Who it's going to be, I don't really know. So it doesn't matter. I think I said Gerald Green or Rick Smits, which I still kind of stand firm on in that regard. I still have so much stuff to do for Westbrook, and I don't even know if I want to do it realistically. It's fine. What they're also going to do tomorrow, in addition to adding the new takeover, adding the new cards into the game and the packs, is they're also going to do another band wave, for sure. It's looking like they're going to do band waves every Monday and Thursday from this point forward, right? Or the day of the releases, so like early Tuesday morning, or, you know, early Friday morning. It looks like they're going to do band waves on those days, and the only reason I think that is because that's what they've been doing for the last 3-4 weeks. They've been keeping going. So, and their pack revenue's down, so I believe they're probably going to continue to do that realistically. So, scheduled band waves are crazy. Yeah. Brent Berry would be dope. I would be hyped. I would be so hyped. I would be so hyped. I would wait for the season 5 news, Fiji, because they usually kind of pop off a little bit in season 5. Season 5 is usually a pretty good season, or at least it has been for the last 3 years. So I would say hold off for Wednesday when we get the new season 5 stuff. We also, very interesting, we also got an update today. I don't know if any of you guys play on current gen, but we got an update today, right? Randomly, just a pretty random update. And I'm wondering if they're going to. I wonder if they're going to implement a shooting patch like they did on next gen. I'm curious to find out if that's the case, because that's something I thought could be possible for a while now, and I'd like to know how possible it is. You mean broke boy gen? Yeah, nice. I mean, I have next gen. I just don't play it. Ooh, dark matter bird with updated sticks. That trash can bird we have. Yeah, well, no, and you'll get a new bird in packs. That's a pink diamond with way better sticks. That's what they're gonna do. But yeah, anybody who's talking about why would they drop super packs today instead of the AllStar cards, it's because they're not in the office. It's literally President's Day. Like they're not working today. So they're not trying to pay people holiday rate, because they obviously are based in California. There are laws they have to follow to a certain extent. They're not trying to pay people holiday pay or double time to put out cards. No, they'll drop a super pack instead. They'll make money and save money. That's what they'll do. Big Mac. Yo, shout out to Big Mac, dude. Big Mac was the #1 strain. Like, I was just talking about this yesterday. If you lived in the Chicagoland area and you smoked flower, in which most people did, obviously, because there was like no wax and shit back then, really. In the year of our Lord 2010, 2009 to about 2011, I would say, there is like a 99% chance that whatever you were smoking, regardless what your dude called it, it was either Blue Dream, if you were spending a bunch of money, or you were plugged in with like the heady community, it was Headband, or it was Big Mac. It was Mac all day. All day. It doesn't matter what your dude called it. It was one of those 3 strains. There's absolutely no possibility that it wasn't. I'll explain why. Headband was like the big. California had just recently kind of medicalized, and the one thing that was getting out of California, because it must have been like the cheapest flower to purchase there at the time, or the cheapest one that looked like you could sell it for a huge markup, was Headband. And it was kind of like it was like a rap thing too. People were hyping it up, so you would see Headband a lot. That would be your like top tier flower that people would buy. Mac was just super easy to grow, and somebody must have got a bunch of clones or a bunch of seeds into the state of Illinois, because I swear to God, everybody had that shit. And Blue Dream, favorite of cartels. So that's kind of what was going on there. I don't get why 2K, they just don't care. They just don't care. I mean, I'm cool with them making level 40 ass if they're going to do these 2-week grinds all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Is Westbrook that great? No, but I still use E, and I'm still using Ray Allen. You know what I mean? So as long as they're making the 2-week grinds good, I don't care that they're making the level 40 ass. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. Headband, OG, and Blue Dream all day. Yeah. There was a lot of OG, too, back in the day, especially if you're buying from guys who would bring it back from California. There was a lot of OG. But most of the OG that in Illinois that you even smoked wasn't even OG for the most part. This shit was like Mac or Blue Dream, and people just called it OG. Blue Dream's one of my favorite strains, by the way. It's kind of like when I talk to people and they're like, man, I missed the way the shit I used to smoke back in like high school or my early 20s used to make me feel, man, I can't get down on this new stuff. And I literally tell people, especially if they're from the area that I grew up, I'm like, dude, you were smoking Blue Dream. That's why. Like, there's a high probability. Go find some Blue Dream at a dispensary. I guarantee you'll feel that way. And I've had at least like 3 or 4 people come back and be like, bro, you were 100% right. This is exactly what I used to feel like. I'm like, yeah, you were smoking Blue Dream constantly. Trust. It was like the easiest shit to grow. So people had Blue Dream all the time. That's just how it was. This is pre-medical. So like you could call whatever flower you had anything, especially to like stupid white high school kids, and they'll buy it. The names that I used to hear, dude, this is pre-Leafly. This is like really broadband internet too. So it's not like I can just Google real quick. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't cannabis databases like there is now. Wait, what did I just pop off? What did I get? What the fuck was that? Oh, I got 25 tokens for my ball. Damn. 5K for 25 tokens is rough, dude. That's pain. Labor laws got to do us like that. Yeah, dude. Goddamn labor laws. They did us like that. Good old internet. Nowadays, like if you have like a street plug and they tell you some wild ass name, you can have an app on your phone that quite literally will tell you about every strain under the sun. Shout out to Leafly, dude. Leafly's like my favorite thing in the world. Jamaican red hair. Yeah, we used to have this shit called Baby Dank, dude. It was like, this is what we called it. I don't know what the actual street name for this stuff was, and I'm assuming based on the description. It's hard to tell really what it was though. So it was like, it was definitely improperly grown kind of some sort, right? It was like lime green with orange hairs, but it like was completely grown improperly. So it makes it really difficult to actually tell what it was, but it was just straight lime green with just orange hairs all over it. And it was in sort of in buds, but like not really. It wasn't like mid or like schwa, but it was like, it wasn't in buds either though, dude. They were like hexagons. Like it was like some weird shit, dude. Like somebody really fucked up. But they must have had a big amount of it because it was everywhere, dude. White Widow. Yeah, finding out White Widow is like a super low in THC strain was a wild thing for me. The reason I say that is because I remember this dude up the street from my buddy's house. He had like a grow up, and then, you know, he was just like, it wasn't even like a massive grow up. It was just like kind of a small time one, like maybe 10, 15 plants or something. Like it wasn't wild. Like it was a pretty normal ass grow up, I would say. And homie got busted by the cops. I think his neighbors called the cops on him or something for, you know, growing herb. And all he was growing was White Widow. And then I remember, like, I didn't know too much about it. And then I got into the industry and I found out that White Widow is a predominantly CBD based plant. And I felt so bad for that guy. I just thought about it randomly. I hadn't thought about it in like 10 years. And I'm like, damn, dude. I'm like, didn't that dude who lived down the street get popped for growing White Widow? I was like, homie went to jail for like 20 years for growing hemp, dog. That's fucking crazy, man. That's so bad. I hope he's out, dude. White Rhino. Yep. Yeah, Blueberry was kind of the hot craze when I was in high school. Like that was the one at the end of high school. It was Headband for sure. I remember, and I think that's because Wiz Khalifa talked about Headband a little bit at some point. That's at least my theory as to why everyone was gassing it. But obviously, Perp was everywhere too. But there's like 100 different purple strands. So just like if it looked purple, people just called it Perp. So, like, you know what I mean? There's no way to tell what it actually ever was. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. Oh, Marc Gasol to the rack. Yeah, good foul. And this is when Reggies were falling off in the early 2000s. I forgot what I was saying. Damn. Grape Ape was heavy in college. Yeah, Grape Ape was heavy in college. I remember a lot of people saying Grape Ape for sure, which I don't think I've actually ever smoked real Grape Ape before. There's no way. Even if the bud we were getting back in the day was good, which a lot of it was solid, there's no way it was ever the name that people told us. Like, there's no way. Especially back in, like, 2009. Like, no. Unlikely. And it's not due to, like, the dudes who were selling it to us being rude and shit. It's like the dudes they got it from would say a name, and they'd be like, oh, okay, that sounds right. That sounds like a weed name. That's cool. But, like, nobody knows. Neckbeard Red Band. But I feel like Blueberry was the hot one when I was like probably a sophomore, junior in high school. It was all about Blueberry. And this led to a rash of knockoff Blueberry being sold. A bunch of just Reggie Dank with Blueberry Tasty Puff all over it. Like, quite literally, this shit was sold constantly. And it was a good money-making opportunity for a lot of the sketchier individuals that we know. Because, I mean, you get like, let's say you get like an ounce of Reggie Dank, like, don't want to say Reggie because it's not Reggie and it's not necessarily mid. It's just kind of like trash dank nug. Maybe it's like improperly grown. THC percentage is probably like 9-10% max, right? Some indoor street grown, dude, you know? You buy that for, I don't know, man, for an ounce. Who knows what they were paying for it? I never got into the illegal selling trade, so who knows? Probably like 100, 120 or something for an ounce of this shit, maybe. And then you could probably sell it for like 200, you know, the way it was. But if you pop some blueberry tasty puff on there, you could definitely sell that bitch for 300 to private school kids for sure. I remember when they used to spray it with them dumbass sprays, man. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Tasty Puff. Yeah, dude. Tasty Puff. Do they still make Tasty Puff? There's no way they do, right? There's no way. That stuff has to be so bad for you. No, they do. What? No. They still make Tasty Puff? Oh my god, no. Dude, Tasty Puff has their own rolls? Oh my god. Wild. Okay, looks like they've kind of chilled out on like the their main source of income doesn't come from dealers who are buying this stuff to like increase the amount of money their product is worth. So that's good. That's imagine putting cool menthol on your cannabis. That's fucking weird. No, I don't like that. But yeah, the Tasty Puff blueberry was all over the place, dude. Jesus. Tasty Puff sells vape liquid. No way, dude. Oh, if you're vaping Tasty Puff, yo, you need to go to jail, dude. Straight up. I mean, they don't exist anymore. I mean, I would love to have some for personal use, but those don't exist. Like, literally, I think there's some in South Africa, though. Chauvin, no, absolutely not. Do not. Please do not. I thank Ludacris for that. Yeah, facts. Facts. Blueberry Yum Yum had a lot to do with that. There's no question about it. Okay, how many? I just need 2 more to get fucking Joe Harris. All right, cool. I started off with Reggie 5G. Hell yeah. And around 2013, the headband OG and grape clones saturated the market. Agreed. Yeah. The big one here was LA Confidential. LA Confidential was everywhere. Like everywhere. And it's legit LA Confidential because I've smoked plenty of it legit afterwards, and it's the same, so there's really no difference. But the LA Confidential was fucking everywhere in Illinois for a little bit. Like in about 2014, 2015, no matter where you were smoking at, high probability was LA Confidential. I've always been really interested to know that because it's like coming from like the Chicagoland area, you know, whatever gets trafficked into Chicago explodes around the area. So pretty much everyone always had like the same amount of flower because I'm guessing probably only a few people were exporting large quantities like that. Like you would get your random dude who would drive out to like Colorado and come back with like a couple O's occasionally. So you get that random guy and you get some kind of different strainage, and everyone had those for sure. But there must have been like only a couple big crews because it just felt like every single time that didn't happen, you were smoking LA Confidential or like Grape Ape or like the same 3 strains. LA Confidential must have been hella cheap. Like it must have been so cheap to buy from the dispos or the illegal grow ops in fucking Humboldt County. Sour diesel, dude, we actually didn't have very much diesel at all up here in Illinois, believe it or not. Like real diesel. I mean, you would always get, you know, people claiming they had diesel, but really we didn't get any. Sativa dominant strains were non-existent up here, really. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that from a street market perspective, like sativa strains are you know, they're stringier, they're a lot lighter, like they don't look as good for the most part. I mean, once you get up to the medical grade stuff, obviously it all looks good, but like, you know, it doesn't look as pretty as indica bud does. Indica buds are fat, indica buds are dark, full of trichomes for the most part. They're heavy, you know, and that's kind of what people were looking for. So you really didn't see sativa bud in the underground markets back in the day. Rarely at all, unless you knew someone who was specifically growing. And they were growing more for like personal use than like money purposes. Like other than that, you really did not see sativa stuff, at least in Illinois anyway. You probably did in California and stuff like that just because of the soil. Like you could actually grow it. But we'll get back to the weed talk in a little bit, but hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it regardless, though. Thanks, Jet. But yeah, no, for real, thank you so much for the dono. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, if you were buying street bud back then, There's a very high probability that that was indica dominant. And that's the other thing that I tell people all the time too when they come in and they're like, "Man, I used to buy all the street bud. It used to be so good, but the stuff I'm buying from the dispo, it's just not the same." And I'll tell people, especially if you're older. Okay, so if you're older, like if you were smoking in like the 70s and 80s, majority of the flower that you were smoking back then was sativa dominant because most of it was coming from Mexico, right? And that's Mexico, Colombia, all that stuff, Colombian gold, or it was coming from like Southeast Asia, stuff like wild Thai, Thai red, etc. Most of those flowers are going to be sativa dominant. So anybody who was smoking back in the 70s or 80s that tells you that everything's bullshit now, A, those guys are stupid. But there is some validity to that because it's grown in the soil that it's been grown in for thousands and thousands of years, because that stuff technically, it really just grows wildly out, or at least it did back then. So certain soils will cause the effects to be a little bit stronger and stuff like that. So that actually, there is some validity to it because it had a really high concentration of like terpenes and cannabinoids that like normal flower that's just engineered for THC percentage doesn't have. So there is some validity to it. But the other thing is most of that was sativa dominant. So people come to the dispensaries, and dispensaries still to this day are going to be majority indica dominant because it's the prettiest flower, it sells the easiest, and it's the easiest to grow, and it yields higher. So, that's kind of the reality of the situation. So anybody who smoked in the 80s that was like, I miss those 80s effects, A, you were younger. That's important too. But B, you were probably smoking sativa dominant flower. Like, let's be real. And you were smoking natural sativa dominant flower, which is a completely different world than hydroponic grown. Like, the reason I say that, by the way, because people don't understand that if it's grown like lab grown, like why it's worse. The reason is different soils cause the flower to be different, obviously. And also, when people grow it in labs, they focus too much on increasing THC percentage and not the rest of the terpenes and cannabinoids. So it's like you lose a lot of the flavor, you lose a lot of the other effects that the flower would normally give you, as opposed to just getting like a super rush head high. Like, you know what I mean? So, hey, we teach things over here on Cheap Lude's channel, dude. You're gonna come away here with some knowledge at the bare minimum. I could probably explain it better if I wasn't absolutely fried right now. I burn in the AM and late at night, so I prefer sativa dom strains. See, I'm an indica guy through and through. There are some sativa dominant strains that I do like. Like we have a Pineapple Express, which what it actually is, I have no idea. Obviously, the strain didn't exist until the movie, so I'm not sure what the actual lineage is on it. That's really good. Like, it's probably the only Illinois strain that I would say is actually really solid. Like, we also have this wild Thai from a company called GTI, which is fire. Fire. And from what all my old heads tell me, it's the closest to the old school, like 70s and 80s, like sativa experience that they remember. It's even all stringy and nasty looking like it, too. I like it. Is there a platinum strain? Yeah, there is. I think there's platinum Kush for sure. I think they have in California. We never had any platinum Kush, but there is definitely platinum. There is platinum strains for sure. I'll look it up on Leafly. I'm pretty sure. If they're Kush adjacent, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Hey, wait, I might never even use my freelance. Sick, dude. Look at Karl Malone playing tough defense. Oh, it's cash too. The black market here in Canada is crazy. The whole percentage thing is messed up. Yeah, dude, THC percentage as a whole, it's not the same. People kind of look at it, especially if you didn't grow up. If you didn't work in the industry, you would never really know. Or, you're not a big stoner. But, like, the whole THC percentage, most people, the reason it's so prevalent in the U.S. is because people are used to alcohol percentage. So they use it as, like, a marketing tool, right? When, in fact, these are two very different things. Like, alcohol percentage, it'll get you more fucked up. That's specifically what it does. And to a certain extent, THC percentage does that too, but you lose a lot of things with it as well. Hawaiian, no. I've tried it. We had a Hawaiian Gold in Illinois for a little bit, which I'm not sure the lineage of that, but that was really nice. That was solid. But, I mean, dude, realistically, unless you're using Hawaiian soil to grow these, like, they're not going to hit the same regardless, So, like, you could try to grow shit like Colombian Red or, like, Hawaiian Gold in Illinois, but you don't have the soil. If you're going to invest in like Hawaiian soil, that's different. Like you're going to be able to replicate the results for sure. But if you're going to try to grow it in like standard grow soil, or like, you know, soil that you took from outside the Midwest, it's not going to grow properly. That's the key. Like you could try to duplicate the nutrients and like the values in those. I don't know. I'm not a botanist, so I'm trying to explain this in a way where I don't sound totally stupid, but also like it makes sense. But you could try to replicate kind of the soil sample in a way, right? You could try to do that by replicating it down to a T. It just I feel like it doesn't hit the same. I feel like it's also, there's so many different factors. It's like the weather too, the angle of the sun. You know, there's like so many factors, man. What's your craziest, most exclusive strain you had? Bro, I just burned a strain collab with Uncle Snoop and bored it. Yeah, you. Probably the most exclusive strain I had was called Brownie Scout, and it's not necessarily an exclusive strain necessarily. But the company that did it, called GTI, Green Thumb Industries, which is a company that is nationwide. They had bioengineered it, so it was like 38.9% THC percentage on the flower, which was the highest in recorded U.S. history, and I would assume world history, I'll be honest. And they only had about 200 or 300 eighths of it, and I got one of those as a product sample. So that's probably the most exclusive flower I've ever had, realistically. That shit was kind of crazy. I'd milk. Nice. But yeah, that's probably the most exclusive flower I've ever had, if you want to call that exclusive. But they sent it to me as like a product testing thing. And I'll be honest, I told him it was low-key kind of trash. The reason I called it kind of trash is I was like, dude, this is like, I mean, if I'm being honest, this is just hash, right? Like, there's no other cannabinoids on this flower. It's just straight up THC. There's nothing else. I mean, nothing else could possibly grow on that flower when you have that many trichomes. Like, when you have that much THC, you can't really add many other cannabinoids. Physically, like, there's not enough space on the plant. So it's like, you know, so I was just like, dude, this isn't, it's cool and it's a good marketing tip, and like people are going to buy this shit for sure. But like, if we're talking about effects wise, like it's not really that good. It's just hash. Like I would rather just smoke bubble hash, if I'm being honest. Like it even kind of tasted like hash. I got a homie who only smokes indica. That's me. I'm an indica guy. I have some sativa strains that I like occasionally. But I only smoke indica, and I typically only smoke ground-grown cannabis. I just feel like it's better. I don't really care about high THC percentage, personally. Like, most of the time I go for flower that are, I would say, lower in THC percentage anyway. Stuff like Purple Punch, Granddaddy Purple. Typically, those guys aren't too high in THC. I mean, most of the time, if it's a true Granddaddy Purp, it's probably between, like, 18 and, like, 25 at the absolute max. You must bud tend. I ran a dispensary for 3 years. Yeah. So yeah, dude. Well, it was about 2. I ran it for about a year. It's a whole extensuous set of circumstances for sure. SMG.cbf. No. What the fuck is that? What is Lucky Dog? That sounds awful. Oh no. Hey, is that Pink Diamond DeRozan? Oh, yeah. Get it over there. Shoot it over Karl Malone. Yeah, mailman don't deliver on Sundays. Fucking take that, bitch. Lucrative business. I mean, I didn't make crazy money. I just did it because I enjoyed it. I'm looking to get back into it in a sales rep form, though. Shortly, I had a non-compete that I thought was active. Apparently, it was never active, so I could have been working in the industry this whole time, but COVID happened, so that was a whole damper. I've had some Bowie Wowie for sure, and it still hits. It's still a good strain. I like it. I'm going to share the stream with my Christian band camp members. I think they'll approve. Yo, low-key, Christians be getting high as fuck, dude. Like, that's what I've learned in my life. Loki, the best part about working at a medical dispensary or a rec dispensary is the people that you see, especially if you live in your hometown. Like if it's a smaller town and you work in the dispo, dude, you would never expect to see the people that you see rolling in there, dude. Like some of the people I would see pulling up is just crazy. Because it's like, dude, when you see people that you actively remember being very anti cannabis, especially when you see people who used to talk shit to your parents because me was a little stoner, and then you see them pull up at the fucking dispensary, oh man, that shit used to piss me off. I would be like, bruh. I'm like, yo, I remember when you was talking shit about like one of our friends for getting caught with weed. Like, I remember that. Look at you now. Look at you now. Oh, you want some free samples? That's cute. Fuck no. Get out of here. Walk, walk, walk. Adios. Like, I remember this. I'm petty, dude. Like, I'm super petty, though. So I guess, you know what I mean? It's all good. I should probably be paying attention since I only need to play this one game. It's all good. Give me your thoughts on Moon Rock. It's a Moon Rocks they're like a novelty. If I'm being honest, like I like smoking shit like that. I'm not a dabber, right? I don't do concentrates. Like I don't dab concentrates at all. Mainly because I was ruined by street wax in like the early to mid 2010s, right? Fucking felt like I was gonna die off some of that butane infested stuff. So like it's kind of like left a sour taste in my mouth for all concentrates. I'll still use like concentrate pens, like a Yokan or something of that nature. Sometimes even like a Puffco. Like I'll still use small things like that, but I won't do butane like, you know, torch rigs. Like fuck that, absolutely not. So I like smoking stuff like Moon Rocks. Personally, do I think it's necessary for the most part? No. Do I think it's fun? Yeah. Plus, it's just so pretty to look at, dude. And you get to flex on all your friends, so it's like, you know what I mean? I am in favor of Moon Rocks, personally. Do I think they're, like, I don't know, is the cost-benefit analysis really, like, working out there? No. Is it kind of a waste of concentrate to a certain extent? Yeah. Are they awesome to look at and you get to flex on your friends with them? Yes. So, I mean, I'm in favor. I like them. They're really pretty too. Most Moon Rocks. I mean, dude, when you take a bud and then you either paint it with distillate or melt rosin or wax on top of it, and then you roll it in keef, and then you put it in wax paper, like it's gonna look pretty. It's some shock and awe type shit. Like it's shock and awe, dude. Like you're gonna pull up and you're gonna be like, check this out. Like we were smoking these things on the Super Bowl, dude. Me and the homies called sparklers. I was gonna shout out my homie by name, but I don't think he really wants that, so I'm not gonna do that. Shout out to the homie T, man. I'm just gonna call him T for pearling up these sparklers, man. He works for a company, but the sparklers were awesome, man. Basically, it was a pre-rolled joint painted in a pure distillate, rolled in like an excruciating amount of keef, and these things went hard, dude. I truly credit the sparkler as the only reason I didn't have a complete mental breakdown when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. I credit the sparkler for that. It was very indica dominant. So, if not for the sparkler, I probably would have committed seppuku. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, dude. I bet his name is Ty. Jesus Christ, dude. His name does not start with a T. Like, it's not. His nickname starts with a T. So, it's like, just got my rage quit. Hell yeah, dude. Anyway, shout out to him because he pearled that shit for sure. And I literally those things, they got me through the evening. I was about to lose my mind. Mr. Sparkler. The sparklers are cool, man. There was distillate bubbles on them, so we were smoking. The distillate on it was like popping bubbles. Oh man, it was nice. It was dripping a little bit, but it was cool. It was real cool. I liked it. I would buy a sparkler again. Don't know if I would ever smoke a sparkler personally. Like, I wouldn't smoke a personal sparkler. I feel like that's just asking for trouble personally. but I would like share sparklers again for sure. Weedy Weedy 86, hell yeah, dog. Oh, I don't even want to beat you right now. Oh no. Guys, I am so fucking excited. So excited for Atomic Heart, dude. Atomic Heart comes out tonight. I am stoked. I've been waiting for this game for probably about 5 or 6 years at this point. Like, you know what I mean? His nickname gotta be Truck. Dude, you guys can keep guessing. I'm not gonna tell you. That's the homie, dude. Like, what do you mean? What are the odds for the packs? Same as the AllStar packs. Literally the same. But yeah, dude, it's wild, man. And by the way, I should specify these are legal joints. By the way, that he rolled, so it's not like he's doing some street shit. But I still don't want to put homie out there. You know, spotlight grind is OD, but this Buddha's hand strain is keeping me grounded. I don't think I've ever had Buddha's hand before. Why would I call my... I just talked about how I like this person a lot, and that's the homie. Why would I nickname someone Tubby? That's fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Damn. Imagine, like, you have, like, friends and they give you, like, these horrific nicknames, dude. Thank God my friends have never done that to me. I'd be so pissed. Like, imagine you got the type of friends that are just, like, giving you horrific nicknames. That would be so rough, man. That must suck, dude. That's some private school shit, though, 100%. I remember people having ruthless nicknames in private school, dude. Because I was there for a couple years, and my class was relatively, like, the class I went to high school with, like, I went to private school, but my class was a public school class. Like, let's be real. Like, I still like majority of the people I went to private school, high school with that are in my class. Like, I still talk to a decent amount of them on the regular. Like, I'm still in a fantasy baseball league with, like, at least 10 dudes from my class, you know what I mean? They're all still super cool. The classes around me, though, those were your typical, like, private school classes. I don't know. My class was an outlier, dude. They had some fucked up nicknames for each other. Rampant homophobia. Funniest chirp I got in high school as a white boy, and apparently it's been called sperm. Yo, nice, dude. The one thing I do remember is, like, all right, so in high school, like, I used to dress, I don't know, dude. I don't even want to say scene, really, like, Zoomies kid, basically, is the best way I can describe it. Like, you know, Zoomies Hot Topic kid from 2008. You know, that's, like, kind of how I used to dress. Enjoy shirts. I fucking love Enjoy shirts, dog, still to this day. You know, pants that were way too tight, shit like that. I just remember going to Auburn for the first time, which was the high school I went to in my hometown. And it was like at the very end, it was like halfway through junior year when I left, when I got kicked out of private school and went for nothing, by the way. I didn't do anything cool, in case you guys were wondering. No, not like Jinko wallets. Nah, this was like 2008. So just like super tight pants and like Enjoy shirts and shit. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of bright colors. That's kind of not much has changed, realistically, if I'm being honest. Imagine you with this Zoo York. Dude, I had some Zoo York shit for sure, 100%. Not very much of it. My homie AJ used to work at Zoomies back in the day. This was like 2008, so it's been 10 years. And he used to take all the promotional shit. Like when they would get promotional T-shirts for like the employees to wear, he would take them all. Like he would take them all, and then anytime that people would bring it up to him, he would play like, "Oh, I'm the one black guy at Zoomies. You're gonna blame me?" card every single time. That shit was hilarious. But like, so I always had random Zoomy stuff from him. Yeah, girl size jeans, 100%. Yeah, for sure. But I just remember my first year at this high school, predominantly, not white for sure. Not very many of us there, except Joker guy and myself, realistically, and some like BMX dirt bike kids. And I just remember getting ruthlessly ripped on for like the first couple days I was at school because I was wearing like hella tight pants and I was dressed the way that I was. A lot of girl talk going on. Now, I remember coming back my senior year, dressed the exact same with just more tie dye, basically. It's the only thing that changed. And I remember, dude, the same people who were ripping on me the year before. This is right when Lil Wayne dropped his rock album, dog, and dude, it switched up. And Wiz Khalifa started popping off a little bit. Things switched up instantaneously. All of a sudden, then it was like, yo, where did you get those? Yo, where'd you get those pants? Yo, where'd you get that shirt? It was crazy. That was some wild shit. Also, they all knew I had Loud Pack, so that was a different situation too, and not enough Loud Pack for me to get set up. There we go. Oh, we're cooking right now. We're only up 2 though, but I'm playing like shit. Come on, Weedy Weed, let's go. Oh, Dinwiddie contested. Oh man, I love it. School tree. Oh my god. Sorry. It's just, yo, I'm not gonna lie, man. I didn't expect to just that was not what I expected to be in that long comment thread. Like, yo, that was crazy. All right, Marcus Hall, let's go. Oh my god, team manager called her wolf. That's fucked. That's so fucked. Oh my god. Oh my god. Trent said it. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I was still behind the times, dude. Oh my god. I would say I was like a precursor to the Odd Future kids a few years later though. Cuz when I was in high school everyone wore like cartoon monster t-shirts and like, you know, super scene shit like Dravens, dog. Like I remember a bunch of like listening to AFI and shit. Ugh, ugh, ugh. I was a bit more colorful. I liked tie-dye and stuff. I really liked a lot of stoner music at the time, so it was like influences. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit there was once upon a time in my life where I did listen to Cottonmouth Kings at one point. I was firmly aware that they sucked, but I definitely did listen to Tangerine Sky like before school all the time. I definitely smoked mid bowls listening to Tangerine Sky like often. Like very often. Because this is back in the day before most cars had like MP3 players. I mean, I had an iPod, dog. I didn't even have an iPhone at this point. It was like 2009, you know what I mean? So I would listen to CDs. I would burn CDs and put them in my whip and drive to school. And like literally, I had some. I don't remember what exactly I called. I had a whole series of burnt CDs that were all weed songs, dog. Like the most annoying weed songs you can possibly think of, for sure. Ah, man, if I was on Twitch, I'd ask Dinky because that's actually like one of my best friends from real life, and he's in there sometimes. I forgot what I used to call them, but like I had a whole series. There was like 5 or 6 volumes of these in my car at any given time, like burn CDs ready to go, and literally we used to bump this shit all the time. Like I'd be on the way to school just bumping Tangerine Sky hard, dude. Like so hard. Tangerine Sky was on there. A lot of Slightly Stupid. Cisco Kid from the How High soundtrack for sure. 187, which is not a weird. It's not a weed song at all, but I was bumping it. Yeah, I would like to find it, dude. I think I had Sade Smooth Operator on there, which is like also not a weed song, but it just felt right. Um, yeah, I did. I remember that because I would listen to that on the way to school, like high as fuck, dude, like all the time. There we go. Yee. Be honest, how much of these burn CDs were from LimeWire? They were all from FrostWire. Like 100%. I definitely gave my parents' computer like AIDS. There's no way around it. Yeah, they were all FrostWire for sure. Little Dragon. This is pre Mac Millers. This is like 2008, 2009. I don't even know if Kids had come out yet. I've never really been a big Mac Miller guy personally, but I did like some of his earlier stuff for sure. There was definitely some Wiz on there. All of course, you know, like there was definitely some stuff from BAR. Because I don't even think Kush and Orange Juice had come out. Yeah, it did. It did. So there was some Kush and OJ tracks on there for sure, but it was more likely. Cypress Hill was definitely heavy on there for sure. Cypress Hill and Bone. Oh yeah, Weed Song was on there, of course. Weed Song is the fucking best, dude. I still listen to Weed Song. Like, if I had to look back at those old playlists, there's probably not very many of those songs I still listen to, like, regularly, but Weed Song is one of them. That and If I Could Teach the World by Bone Thugs, I still listen to, like, very regularly. We used to download Artist Benefit. Yeah, I'd have to look. I might actually. I tried to recreate this in a Spotify playlist one time, and I can't. Ooh, I wish I could remember what it was called. Oh, I should probably put my bench in, huh? Because like me and my friends tried to do this one time where we tried to recreate it, and I just don't remember. And Cushion OJ was my shit. Yeah, dude, I used to bump Cushion OJ heavy, dude. That shit had white kids in it great for a little bit. Yo, you know how many times I went to house parties and dudes were rocking backpacks with nothing in them just to look like Wiz? Damn, my man had the late underscoop layup. Wild. Oh yeah, that song goes hard. If I Could Teach the World goes hard. No, my favorite part is dudes like, that's why I stay high, because I got shit to deal with. That's my favorite part. I don't know why. Every time I hear it, it makes me laugh. It's great. It's great, dude. It's just the way he sings it, dude. Just so soulfully. He's talking about how I gotta stay high because I got bills in the government to deal with and dudes on the corner. Like, that's my favorite part. But my cat's just screaming down there for no reason. As per usual, nothing weird about that. Let me pause. How much? I got 2 minutes. Let's see. Let me see if I found. Oh, The Definition by Black Star was on there for sure. Like, for sure. I used to bump that song super hard. A bunch of stuff off Method Man's To Cal was definitely on there. I think it's To Cal or To Call. I don't remember even how to say it realistically. Let's see. Hey Baby by Stephen Marley and Mos Def. I had a lot of Mos Def on there. I don't know if that's surprising. Lebanese Blonde by the Thievery Corporation was in the mix. I had some Silver Sun pickups on there. I kind of liked them at the time. If you guys have ever heard of Guru from Gangstar's Jazzmatazz series, dude, it's this series of albums he dropped in the 90s where he would rap over jazz beats. That shit was fire. Fire, fire, fire. Certified fire, dude. It's all... Ooh, that shit went so hard, dude. La Bien La Mal, ooh, classic. Ooh, shit goes so hard. Anyways, obviously a bunch of old school like Chronic stuff was on there. Ice Cube. Because I tried to recreate it not too long ago, so I have some of the songs on here. I had this song called The Resin Song. There was a resin song, which I would listen to if I had to resort to smoking resin. Oh, I had a bunch of Curtis Mayfield on there too, like Pusherman and like Superfly and stuff. That was good. Jazzmatazz went hard, dude. I think at one point I had Papa Was a Rolling Stone on there for the Temptations. I don't know. I just got high one time. How to Roll Blunt by Redman was in the mix. There was a bunch of Atmosphere on there because, you know, I'm white, so that makes sense, right? Friend of the Devil. There's a bunch of Grateful Dead. It was a shit ton of Creedence Clearwater Revival on there. I regret nothing on that one. That just tracks, dude. For sure. Devin the Dude, bro. There was a song called Mother by Devin the Dude that I used to bump so hard. So hard, bro. Oh my god. This song was featured prominently on whatever the series was called, episode 1. Oh, man. Yo. Yo, this shit went hard, dude. Mother was fucking cracked. That song is so bad, but at the same time, dude, that was it. I'm telling you, these were my jams in 2009, dude. I'd be up here, bowl full of Reggie, dude, just smoking heavy. And when I'm talking about bowl, I'm talking about, you know, those little metal bowls that burned your fucking whole throat with the little screw on top? Yeah, I had one of those, dude. Blasting. Well, I didn't want to have the glass bowl on deck. What if I dropped it and broke it and I couldn't get high at school anymore? No, that's unacceptable. Like, you got to smoke the metal bowl. No way to break that. Oh, shit, Rick James? Yeah, Rick James is in there. Devin the Dude? Yeah, he's problematic for sure, but he was definitely in there. I used to bump Modest Yahoo super hard, obviously. Smokeless metal bowls sucked. Oh, yeah, they get hot as fuck. They were awful, but... You know what, dude? They were good in a pinch, man. If you needed to smoke weed outside of like a roller derby, there's no better way. Ooh, Jason Kidd, DUI enthusiast, hit that. Oh my god. Some absolute bangers here. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. I used to listen to a bunch of the Smiths too. Like, don't make fun of me, but I still do, dude. This Charming Man fucking bangs, dog. RJD2, I used to listen to a bunch of him, dude. DJ Quick, The Bomb Bud, fucking classic, dude. Oh, Fire. That honestly, that DJ Quick album was gas, dude. I'm sorry, it was. Cottonmouth Kings for sure. I'm not even gonna hate, dude. Like, I was definitely bumping Cottonmouth Kings. I was one of those kids. I wasn't listening to King Spade though. That's some dog shit. I'm not hating that. No, absolutely not. Uh, 50 Cent High All the Time, still one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm in the Suburban Swervin'. Love it. Love it so much. I used to bump Red Red Wine by UB40 all the time, dude. And constantly. Like, constantly, dude. This is the shit I would listen to before going to, like, the scariest high school in my area. Oh, yeah, I definitely bumped a bunch of UGK, and there was definitely some DJ Screw in the mix, too, for sure. Just not very much. I wasn't exactly sipping at that point, so most of this was just stuff that I had heard on, like, weed music playlists, you know? Or, like, at my dealer's house. Big L. There was a bunch of Big L in there. Yo, I used to go Red Red Wine hard body, dude. Are you for real? That song bangs, bro. Like, come on. That song goes super hard. Like, you know that. Ooh, Jabari, hit that cash. Regulate. I used to. Oh, fuck, dude. How could I forget about 311, dude? 311. For sure. Tommy, my fucking boy. What's up, man? I didn't even see you, dude. You know, some Loonies for sure. 100%. What was I just talking about? Oh, 311, dog. I fucking loved 311, dude. I have no. Oh yeah, 3-6 Mafia for sure, but 311 was my shit. When I was a little kid, yo, I used to bump 311 so fucking hard, bro. I swear to God, I'm like a 311 stan, dude. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb. I'm not like an irrational stan. Okay, I'm going to tell you, 311 fucking kind of sucks, okay? But, like, 311 also kind of rules, you know? It's like somewhere in the middle. Look, if you're hating on 311, you don't know shit, okay? You're going to sit here and tell me Amber doesn't slap. You're going to sit here and tell me that All Mixed Up doesn't slap. You're going to be lying. You're going to be lying to yourself is what you're going to be doing. 311 fucking claps, dude. No Seven Dust on here. There was a lot of Modest Mouse in the mix too, which I'm, I'll be honest, kind of embarrassed about. Modest Mouse kind of slaps though. Like Dramamine goes hard for sure. I think I had Careless Whisper in there as well at one point. Obviously, Rick James was in the mix. Bow Down by West Side Connection. I used to listen to all the fucking time for no reason whatsoever. Did not fit the vibes of my mornings whatsoever, but felt good. You know what I mean? Nothing like white boy reggae, dude. Yeah, facts. Facts, big facts, dude. Huge white boy reggae fan. I mean, dude, I listen to Modest Yahoo for fun, dude. That's not only white boy reggae, that's white boy Jewish reggae, dude. That's a next level. Like, that's, you know, that's a great personal risk to Modest Yahoo, by the way, even making that music. I feel like that music in general will keep him out of Orthodox heaven. You know what I mean? Rusted Root? No, I don't know what that is. Nah, I haven't. Are these all white boy reggae music, like reggae acts that we're talking about right now? Because that's what's up. I'm not a big white boy reggae guy anymore, but you know I could be brought back for sure. I used to listen to this One Fish song all the time too. I just don't remember. I've never been a big Fish guy, but there's one song that I fuck with super hard because I listened to it one time when I took too many, like way too many mushrooms, you know, and it was like a really good time. Damn, someone just fucking rang my doorbell. God damn it. Alright, for fuck's sake. Oh, of course. They're fucker. Alright, I'll be back. Damn, catching the loss really hurt, man. Ah. I don't answer the door either. Yeah, we just got a new downstairs neighbor, and sometimes she has, she rings the doorbell just to see, you know. But it was the census people again. Motherfucking census people, dude. You know I exist, bro. Just write it down. Like, that's the one thing I miss about my old apartment. Is like people couldn't come ring the doorbell at my old apartment. You know what I mean? Because I had like 3 security doors. And I still have one of them. But it don't hit the same. What an interesting squad. All right, bet. I've never really been a big Sublime guy, I'll be honest. People, typically will ask me if there was a bunch of Sublime on there. Never been a big Sublime guy. Oh, dude, I used to bump Butthole Surfers like crazy, too, back in the day. Also. Like, for sure. Gangstar. There's a lot of Gangstar on there. A lot of Tribe Called Quest, too. Tribe Called Quest, though, like, they weren't too bad, but there were some, like, old 90s, like, you remember the old early 90s, like, Super Positive. Hip-hop is really good for weed smoking back in the day, right? But, like, sometimes you'd be listening to, like, an old song from, like, 1992, and, like, you're just like, yeah, dude, hell yeah, this is, like, super positive, Think, like, I don't know, dude, like, Tennessee by Arrested Development or something. And then you're like, yeah, hell yeah, this is nice. And then they just start going, like, violently homophobic for no reason, and you're just like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? That happened to me a bunch of times. Like, it's Kitana with an I. Sublime is mid music for sure. Insane in the Membrane. No, not really this California stuff, but more like the New York positive rap. Like your Tribe Called Quest type beat, you know what I mean? A lot of that would just get, like, real homophobic for no reason in the middle of it. You don't even remember that shit. You're just like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? Be a song about loving everybody, and then it's just talking about except for gay people. Like, crazy, dude. I had to take that win, my boy. I feel you, dude. I would have took the win, too, for sure. Tribe was wild? Yeah, dude. Tribe was super wild. Super wild, dude. He used to be like, yeah, dude, the vibes are real right on this song. And then they just start talking about how, like, don't even want to say the shit they be talking about. You're just like, whoa, dude. It's kind of like, have you guys ever gone back and listened to Where the Hood At recently? Because, like, Jesus Christ, dude. Tribe does have the Kyrie mentality for sure. Like, holy fuck. This happens to me every few years, dude. Like, I'll be on a little DMX kick, as per usual, as the white person that I am. White people love DMX more than any other rapper in the world. Like, if you talk to an actual white supremacist and you ask them who their favorite rapper is, you would think it would be Eminem, but I guarantee 9 times out of 10, it's DMX. I don't understand why. Like, I do not understand what it is about DMX that makes white people love him so much. I just don't get it. And I'm one of them. Like, I'm a white guy who likes DMX way too much. I just don't get it, personally. Right? Anyways, I went through another DMX kick where I'm listening to DMX stuff, and he's getting vaguely homophobic, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember that for sure. For sure. Tupac really wasn't that bad about it, to be honest. I don't remember him getting crazy homophobic, but it's possible. That's just kind of how hip-hop was back in the day. But DMX, on the other hand, took it to a whole new level, bro. Like, I had gone through a bunch of DMX tracks. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It's the energy. I think it's the energy, too, yeah. And then Where the Hood At came on, right? Which I hadn't heard it's been a few years, and this happens every few years, right? Because I remember the song growing up, and I remember the edited version, which does not include any of this stuff. And it's in the first verse. That's the craziest part. Usually, the reason you don't remember Tribe Called Quest and, like, all those other artists being, like, rampantly homophobic is because it would be in, like, verse 3. You'd be, like, 2-3 minutes into the actual song before they started dropping some real questionable verses. You'd be like, whoa, Where the Hood At comes out. Nah, the first 30 seconds, DMX goes on the most violently homophobic rant I have ever heard in a song, dude. It is crazy. It like shocked me because like I don't remember this, dude. I was like, whoa, man. Like it just gets worse and worse. And I know it's like that jail dude stuff. Like that's kind of where he's at. But Jesus Christ, man. That probably is the worst. Besides R. Kelly music, probably some of the worst aging rap music from the 2000s or like hip hop or R&B or anything from the 2000s, bro. Wayne's Rodman bar. Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh, it's fucking crazy, dude. Was that new R. Kelly episode absolutely? I don't. That's a good question. Honestly, dude, when I see R. Kelly's name, I just ignore it. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it. Okay. Now that being said, since we want to talk about R. Kelly right now, Trapped in the Closet is just fucking insanity, dude. Like last year, I sat there and watched through every Trapped in the Closet episode that I could possibly find, and bruh, that's nuts. If he wasn't so wildly problematic and like such a horrible person, you would definitely be able to find that stuff a lot easier. But it is wild. It's fucking crazy. Like I remember it getting a lot of press at the time, being like a younger kid. But watching it back as an adult, yeah, that's wild. You're just kind of like, damn. No wonder people were hating on this shit so hard. This shit is ass and crazy. It's a combination that shouldn't exist. There we go. Shit was titled like it did something on Awesome. Yep. Oh. Yeah, dude. I don't know what's up with... I just fucking have no idea, dude. Oh, no. No, no, no. Get the board. Oh, my God. I need to pay more attention. Who just did that? Paolo Banchero just did that? Okay. I should have knew we were going to have problems because I see everybody got the shoes. Everybody got new shoes. E from half court. Ooh. Ooh. What's new besides the super packs? Absolutely nothing. I'm playing another dude with a Hasbula court, so that's what's up. Like, you know what kind of game I'm having right now. Not a good one. Nice foul, Dinwiddie, dude. That's respectable. You see AllStar Weekend where they were slurping the hall? Yes, dude. Jesus Christ, bro. Crazy. Wild. Come on, man. There's got to be, like, the internet exists. Like, we know about that shit now. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy the NBA really signed off on that shit. It's like, you know what I mean? Karl Malone doesn't hold really any all-time records at this point, right? Like, he was second in scoring, I think, right? At one point. Like, now he's third, so it's like he doesn't really hold any all-time records, at least to my knowledge. I think Stockton doesn't hold the assist record anymore either. Anyways, it's just wild to me that they would still celebrate him at this point. Like, we've seen them kind of abandon players for a lot less. It's just wild they would still gas Karl Malone like that. I don't know. It's just a weird situation to me. I feel like he holds some dirt over, like, the NBA. You know what I mean? Or something. Like, there's something there. Why they haven't just, like, excommunicated him completely. Because, like, when they're active players, I get it to a certain extent why the NBA would still slurp them off even though there's problems. Like, look at what they do with Tyreek Hill all the time, you know? You know what I mean? It's like they're active stars, but, like, Karl Malone, you could just let him fade into obscurity, but, like, you brought him back for All-Star. Why? Why'd you do that? It doesn't make any sense. I did expect a slam dunk champ card or something. No, we'll get it tomorrow. Yeah, that's not a good crew to have. That's not a good crew. Having the best two players be Karl Malone in general, but then you got Stockton too. Yikes. Their actual best player is Mehmet Okur though. Why don't they gas like the real good, NBA players? Well, I don't know what Andre Karolinko is up to right now. Can't imagine it's great, but it's probably better than Karl Malone. So, you know, gas Andre Karolinko, dude. Gas Darren Williams. Darren Williams is nice. Gas him. Gas Thurl Bailey or Mark Eaton. You know. That's what I'm saying. Honor Jeff Hornacek, dude. Andre Karolinko, Brian Russell, Thurl Bailey, Mark Eaton, Greg Ostertag, for fuck's sake. Yeah, what's up with Andre Karolinko? What the fuck is he up to now, dude? He's probably doing something horrific. If I had to guess, like, what's Andre Karolinko up to now, dude? He was like dead ass one of my favorite basketball players growing up. I mean, his name was AK-47, bro. That's so sick. Like, that's such a sick nickname. That's an all-time sick nickname. There might not be a better nickname than Andre or AK-47. That's so cool. Yeah, what's he up to now? Somebody said, why is Andre... The first thing is, why is Andre Karolinko called AK-47? Like, bro... Some things you just shouldn't be able to Google. Like, his number's 47, and his initials are AK, and he's Russian. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Uh-oh. Andre Karolinko and the NBA's worst tattoos is the thing that I've just seen. Okay, like that. Like where that's heading. Like where the head's at there. Okay, once again, Marc Gasol. Horrible screen, the worst fucking screen imaginable. Over to E, over Lowry. Nope. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Luke Walton's tattoos are trash. That was awful. Deshaun Stevenson. Boozer. I mean, Boozer's tattoos are kind of trash, but, like, they're not that bad, I would say. There you go, Marc Gasol. Oh, my God, bricks. Darren Williams. Derrick Rose. Man, leave Derrick alone. Leave Derrick. That's what we're doing? This what we're doing out here? This what we're doing? We're hitting these? Okay. Prime KD or Prime T-Mac, who are you building a team around? I mean, Prime KD, simply for the fact... Can I guarantee that they're not going to get injured? Like, if I can guarantee they're not going to get injured in this fantasy scenario, I'm going to take T-Mac for sure. But if there's still injuries at play, I'm going to take Durant because he can stay healthy. So, no injuries. Oh, then Prime T-Mac for sure. You could talk about how he didn't get out of the first round, but his teams were always traditionally awful. So I'm going to take Prime T-Mac for sure. God damn it. Greg Oden with no injuries all day. Yeah, back in that era too, for sure. I beat you to Ostertag. Who do you think was the better scorer in their primes too? So from a skill aspect, I would say, and I know this is going to sound wild, but I would say Tracy McGrady, personally. And the reason I say that is nothing to do with Kevin Durant. The reason I say that is because Kevin Durant hasn't had to develop certain aspects of his game due to his insane athleticism and size, right? So I would say T-Mac, personally, but I think T-Mac or KD is the better player. Let's be real. Brandon Roy is my biggest what if ever. Dude, B-Roy was fucking cracked. Wemby's not going to break 2K because by the time he comes out, we'll have Kristaps that move like Wemby. You know what I'm saying? But he may break 2K next year. I'm the first person to agree with you. What, on T-Mac being better than, like, from a skill perspective than Kevin Durant? Yeah, and a lot of that doesn't have to do with Kevin Durant at all. I'm sure if he put his heart and soul into some of those skills, he'd be just as good. It's just he never had to because he's 7 foot fucking tall and moves like a guard. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of not his fault, though, at the same time, you know? It's just rationality. I feel like a lot of basketball fans, when they're talking hypotheticals or having debates over things, like, they lack rationality for the most part. I saw this video about meter glitching earlier, and I was really interested. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I need to watch it. Oh my god, yo, there's no way. Thank you. I gotta get my bench in. What am I doing, dude? I have not been doing subs correctly at all. Oh, E from deep shots. Bangers. I grew up around the Orlando area. Hell yeah. Dude, I've talked about how I went to Disney World in 2002, 2003, I think. And I quite literally brought a bunch of Tracy McGrady trading cards just on the off chance that I saw this man walking around Disney World, which is not an accurate thing to think at all. This man had no children. He was like 22. What the fuck would this man have been doing at Disney World? So I was just like, yo, I'm going to bring these cards with me because, like, it wasn't an if thing with me. It was like when I see T-Mac. Because I will see T-Mac here. He's going to sign these cards. You know how many signatures I got? None. Because T-Mac wasn't at fucking Disney World. Did you see it from my post? What? Oh, what did you get? Did you get Tatum? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. There we go. My mom and Dan Marley used to be actual homies, too. I think they had breakfast together. Dude, your mom was homies with Thunder Dan? All right, I'm going to say something, and I don't want you to get upset with me, but do you think Thunder Dan might be your father? Because that would be sick. Well, T-Mac, where people were saying, if T-Mac actually cared, he would be the greatest. Yo, he did not care. I love that about him. That's my energy in life. T-Mac had a stretch when he was better than Kobe. I mean, Kobe said that. Yeah, Kobe said that, like, literally the hardest person for him to guard was T-Mac. Because he could do everything he could do, but he was bigger. And he had the eyes, man. Like, he could see two different parts of the court, like kind of like a chameleon. 6'8" two guard with a huge wingspan, dude. He could shoot from anywhere. He basically had Curry range pre-Curry, you know what I mean? There we go. Oh, god damn it. He was so good. Jason Kidd needs to get in the game. I would just use Thunder Dan to get closer to Chuck. Not even gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, at the time, yeah, for sure. Barkley, I bet Barkley was the biggest asshole to kids, for sure. Like, Michael Jordan, no question, was probably the biggest asshole to, like, fans. True, but NBA hypothetical is like, it doesn't matter if you're on Twitter or real life. Motherfuckers just lack common sense, period. Or, like, understanding in any way, shape, or form. Like, let's do the LeBron MJ greatest basketball of all time debate. Like, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is Michael Jordan is the best shooting guard of all time. LeBron James is the best small forward of all time. That's how I look at it. I judge by positions, not just greatest basketball player of all time, because it's so subjective. Like, you know what I mean? Do you value the longevity of LeBron, or do you value the dominance of Jordan? That's basically it. No, it's very intentional. Yeah, I don't know how to do it because I just don't care enough to learn that stuff. But yeah, it's intentional. People do it every single play for the most part. Why did you throw it off his head, you fucking idiot? But yeah, I look at things more in like positional. Like, I think Magic is probably the best point guard of all time. And I don't give a shit about true point guards. Like, because people will be like, well, Chris Paul is actually the best true point guard of all. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. No. If you played point guard position, you're in the running. I don't care about true point guards and shit. Like, fuck off. Yeah, and the Magic and Steph thing is very just subjective. Like, I would say it's Magic strictly because he's fucking 6'9". Like, you know what I mean? But Steph's probably a lot. He is way more skilled, you know? That's real. Like, Jordan's the best shooting guard of all time. The second best is Kobe. It's not particularly close, if I'm being honest. Like, Kobe's just a carbon copy of Jordan with slightly better moves. LeBron's the best small forward of all time. The best power forward of all time, I think, is legitimately Tim Duncan. The best center of all time is so subjective. I mean, once again, do you value the dominance of Shaq or Wilt, or do you value the longevity of Kareem? It just kind of depends. I would say probably Kareem, personally, but you could really say Shaq. You could say anyone. Power forward's Tim Duncan. I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, it's Tim Duncan. It is Tim Duncan. It can be no one else. Read last, please. If I had a chance to meet T-Mac, I would do anything. Not sus. He's my favorite player of all time. I feel you, dude. I would meet T-Mac anytime. I got Kareem, Wilt, then Hakeem. I feel that, yeah. I would say it's probably Kareem, Wilt for me as well. Like, to be honest, like I think Shaq is probably fourth. Like I think it's because I grew up watching Shaq though, and Shaq just bores the fucking shit out of me. It's not his fault, but it's just like I can only watch Shaq do the same bruiser move 500 times in a row against inferior centers before I start to lose kind of respect for him. D-Rob's up there too, though. People kind of sleep on David Robinson as well. D-Rob used to lock Shaq the fuck up. I think that's another thing that people don't remember. Like, Robinson used to lock Shaq the fuck up, baby Shaq too. Like, you know what I mean? Like Orlando Magic Shaq. Hakeem used to give him a lot of work too. Hakeem gave him work in the finals. Like that was like a 3-year-old Shaq basically. Hakeem was the most, I would say. Ooh, my throat. Sorry. I would say it's hard to deny that Hakeem may have been the most skilled big man, like at the time for sure. Bill Russell does get slept on, and I don't think a lot of it is his fault necessarily. Hakeem did do D-Rob dirty pretty consistently, so. Ooh, Jabari. Do you not think that KG has a chance? Nah, Tim is the man. Tim is better than KG, no question. Tim's got it all, dude. It's. I don't think there's anything that KG does better than Tim. That's the thing. Like, and he has come out and basically said the same thing. So I don't think there's anything that Tim does worse than Kevin Garnett. I don't think, anyway. Like, they're both kind of poor three-point shooters. I think Garnett and Tim Duncan's mid-range shooting is a lot closer than people realize, though. I will say. Like, yeah, for sure. He's definitely more aggressive than Tim, but I think Tim Duncan, in my opinion, you could make the argument that Garnett was a better scorer than Tim Duncan, but I'm not sure that I agree with that sentiment because Tim Duncan was just a more low-key scorer. You know, oh, bad shot. He was good at the mid, for sure. So you can make the argument that he had a better mid-range than Tim Duncan. You could. I think Tim Duncan had a better shooting form, but you could make a argument, like from a aesthetic perspective. Yeah, but at the same time, you could still argue that a couple of those rings get won without Manu and Tony Parker. Or without one of them. You know what I mean? Like, you could still argue that they might squeak out a ring or two without Manu or without Tony Parker. There's a 0% chance they squeak out any of those rings without Tim Duncan, though. That's how I look at it. A lot of that has to do with a wealth of power forwards in the West at the time, though. So, take it with a grain of salt, I suppose. I do not think Wilt is in the top centers of all time, low-key. I do. Because Wilt was he was built like no one's ever been built before. Like, we've never seen a center built like Wilt. Like, we've seen big boys. Yes. Like, if you look at like, analysts and stuff, people will talk about how, like, Wilt, from a physical standpoint, was the most fake person we've ever seen. Like, if you told me that Wilt Chamberlain was made in a lab during World War II, I would believe you. Straight up, I would. Like, he used to bench like 600 pounds. He could run like a 4.40 at fucking 7 foot tall. Like, that's crazy. If he grew up in an era where they encouraged ball handling and they encouraged like them to be more mobile big men, then yeah, I mean, he would be literally the greatest center of all time. I'm not saying he's putting up 100 and shit. Like, he was playing against Dolph Shays and shit back then, but you know, he probably would have popped off just as hard in any era. I think Wilt's kind of the guy. There's certain guys, like, I don't think George Mikan, you can't pick him up and put him in the NBA. Even if you raised him in today's game, you know, you raised him up in the game that we have today, and then you put him in the NBA. I think he's probably dog shit. Like, he's like a Dario Saric level player. You know what I mean? Max, dude. Like, no shade to Mikan, but let's be real, dude. Like, that's what it is. Like, same with guys like Dolph Shays, guys like, you know, even like, I hate to say this, but even like Elgin Baylor, I think, like, if you raised him in today's game, like, he's just like kind of an average wing. Like, I hate to say that, but that's true. But Wilt is fucking different, dog. Wilt and Bill Russell are very different. Wilt specifically, though, because Bill Russell was just very good, but Wilt was physically ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, if he continues this dominance, then yeah, for sure. But I don't know if I'll ever, I don't know if I'll ever subscribe to that. He would be small 4 in the NBA, maybe a 3. Bill Russell, yeah. Which is fine, because I feel like if he came up in the game today, he would still be really good. But, you know, Wilt is just physically so different. He's so much faster, so much stronger, and so much bigger than everybody else that I just don't know if anybody in the NBA, if he was raised up in today's NBA, I don't know if anybody stops him. I just don't know if it's possible. I don't know if anybody ever stops him. Like, he was giving fucking Kareem the business when he was like 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, dude. That's Kareem. He's like the best center of all time. And Wilt was fucking shitting on him for a little bit while he was old. I mean, Kareem was still shitting on him back. Don't get me wrong. Like, his defense wasn't holding Kareem all that much. I mean, he would have hated Kyrie for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. But I think I think we're at the point now where Wilt gets overlooked. I feel like Wilt gets overlooked because of the era that he played in, when physically it's just different. Like, Kareem and Wilt fucking hated each other, by the way. They despised each other. Like, they hated each other so much, dude. But even Kareem, as much as he hates on Wilt, he'll never come out and say Wilt was trash. He'll never come out and say Wilt's overrated. He'll come out and tell you Wilt was like the best center of all time. With 1980s rules or 1960s rules? Because it's actually tough. Like, if you drop today's stars in with 1960s rules, I think they win if they practice. But if you just take them straight out of today and then you put them in 1960s rules, they're going to get called for so many fouls. Also, a majority of them are going to be, you know, African Americans, so the refs aren't exactly going to be on their side. Yeah. Yeah, but then at the same time, no players actually ever hated each other, though. Like, Charles Barkley and fucking Michael Jordan were going on, like, gambling excursions in the middle of the finals. Like, they didn't hate each other, you know what I mean? Oh, 80s rules for sure. The today's stars win, I would say. I guess the biggest draw for the 1960s stars, realistically, is going to be big men versus guard play. Like, the guard play from today's league is going to shit all over the guard play from then. But the big men from that era with 1980s rules probably shit on Embiid and Jokic. Like, from a size perspective, I just don't know. Nobody really bangs in the paint now. That's kind of what makes Embiid so great right now, is he's like a really good post player. We just don't have very many of those. But he's able to kind of pop off because, like, you know, he also has other avenues to his game. That people like Embiid may be able to handle Bill Russell. On the defensive end, sure. Like, yeah, well, Bill Russell's offense, like, they're going to be able to handle him, but, like, with 1980s rules, they're not going to be getting called for as many fouls, dude. They're not going to be used to playing out of the post really as much. Jokic will still pop off offensively, by the way, because he plays out of the post extremely well. But I still think today's stars win due purely off of skill, though. But I think it'd be a little bit closer than people would realize. People think that, like, today's stars would blow them out by 100. Like, I don't necessarily think that's accurate. Russell as a scorer, yeah, he's not great. They would be relying very heavily on Will Chamberlain. Like, let's be real. Oscar Robertson at point guard. Oscar's sneaky athletic too, though. But they'd be relying very heavily off like Wilt. Who will ever stop Giannis? Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about Giannis, to be honest. Yeah, no, I forgot about Giannis completely. If I'm being honest, just forgot he existed for a second. Yeah, he's Wilt. Like Giannis is Wilt. Like, if you want to talk about Wilt, Giannis is just slightly smaller Wilt. That's what he is. Like, so anybody who tells you that Wilt wouldn't do good in the current day NBA, just fucking look at Giannis. Just look at Giannis. That's all. Like, there's no way to even say that Giannis isn't, like, from his direct lineage. I've seen Giannis's dad. That shit don't look like Giannis. I'm going to say that right now. All right? I'm not convinced it's not Wilt. Otto Porter, I think, is Wilt, too, also. I have Giannis over Wilt. Yeah, due to era. Yeah, due to era, I would say, yeah, for sure. I would say due to era. Like I said, if Wilt came up in today's NBA, oh, dear God. Man would be like Wembanyama and Giannis if they fused. Like, it's just because he could run so fast. He was so fucking strong. There's no one stopping him, dude. He's too big. Yeah, Giannis is just better Wilt. That's like what he is. He's better Wilt, but smaller. People forget, though, Wilt had a little mid-range. He just didn't have to use it, dude. Like, I'm pretty confident if you told Wilt he had to go shoot threes, like, he would figure it out. Like, like, when they banned dunking for Kareem, he's just like, all right, I'll just invent a new move real quick. You know, there's just, like, certain guys where it doesn't matter what rules you throw at them. They're just going to be physically better than everybody else, you know? Giannis is heavier than Wilt or not? Nah, Wilt was fucking huge. Wilt was so goddamn big. I don't know exactly how heavy Wilt was. I mean, I can take a look here and just kind of see. He looks thin, but he's not. I mean, Wilt was 7'1" with a 7'8" wingspan, 275 pounds. So he was kind of on the skinnier side, but they didn't really have strength and conditioning like that back then. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what was his 30 time? I forgot he played with the Globetrotters for a little bit, too. That's pretty sick. Kind of forgot about that. Yeah, dude. He's fucking cracked. Yeah, he ran a 4.440, which is nuts, bro. Like, fucking insanity. God damn, dude. Somebody that big should not be running that fast. People forget he was a national champion in track and field. Like, that's impressive as shit. Like, that's so crazy. That's so nuts. That's so crazy, dude. God damn. This man was averaging 32 points a game when he was like 12. In varsity, bro. That's so nuts. Will is cracked. Yeah, but I think it's a strength thing with Wilt too, because he was so fucking strong, dude. Like, it's crazy. His squats were crazy. Man was benching crazy. He's so fast. He's faster than Giannis. I will say that for sure. Giannis has got speed for sure, but Wilt's faster than Giannis. Is a Hoff saw better than 8 Hoff D-Rob? I personally think so, but I mean, if you're a comp guy, you're probably going to argue that. I don't know, man. Wilt was just too much, bro. It's just too fucking much. It's just so wild to me that in 1959, 1960, this man won MVP, Rookie of the Year, and All-Star Game MVP. That's so fucking crazy. That's wild. Wilt was something different. This man was built different. Also, like, people need to remember things about Wilt. Like, goaltending literally only exists because of Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain jumped so high that, like, he would just block balls. They had to institute goaltending. Banning dunking to convert free throws is wild. That's fucking wild. That's nuts. You can't inbound the ball over the backboard because Wilt Chamberlain jumped too high. That's crazy. That's nuts. It's so crazy, dude. Yeah, Russell be Thursday. Giannis would dog Wilt. You see, dude, I don't know. Like, if you took Wilt straight out of 1962 or whatever, it's most dominant season 1964, right? I think maybe. Let's see. When's his most dominant season? God, they're all so dominant. I would say like 61 was probably his most dominant season. But realistically, from 1960 to 1966, in his physical prime, he was fucking cracked all the time. So it didn't really matter, I guess. This man averaged 25 rebounds per game like every year. I guess at the end of the day, like, if you plucked him straight out of 1964, let's say, or 1962 or 3, whenever, then yeah, Giannis probably gives him work. But if you have Wilt come up in this era, and then you have him play Giannis, I don't know if he gets dogged. I don't think he gets dogged. Just break the NBA forever. That would be wild. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah. Banning dunks is nuts. Yeah, they just straight banned dunks from the free throw line. Like, they were like, bro, you can't dunk from free throws. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's a wild stat in and of itself. Like, you're telling me this man would shoot a free throw and then miss it, and then before it hit the ground, he would dunk it? They had to ban that? That's nuts, dude. That's fucking crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of people who could do that still to this day, but, like, that's just a wild thing to think about. Because, like, that's just nuts. Where the fuck is Roy Hibbert at? I just got Roy Hibbert. I'm trying to sell him. I'm trying to see what he's worth. Probably over here somewhere. There you are, Roy Hibbert. What are you worth? 2,000 MT? That's a free 2,000, dude. So I'm like, what's up? But I'm going to hold Adam Silver hostage and make him develop a 3. I want to see Adam Silver with hair. I'd be upset if it wasn't silver, if I'm being honest. Like, if Adam Silver had hair and it was, like, brown, I'd be pissed. For the next 12 centuries. I mean, it's really difficult to kind of argue that Giannis isn't the greatest player of all time if he starts shooting threes like Durant. I just think he's too muscular and his hands are too big, though. I subscribe to the theory that it's physically impossible for a lot of guys to develop like a jump shot because their muscle mass is too big and their hands are too big. So it makes shooting the ball like damn near impossible. Like, people just act like Giannis hasn't developed a three-pointer because he doesn't want to. Like, no, he's too big. He's too big. He's literally too big. I don't know if he could develop a reliable three-pointer with how big he is. That's the problem that, like, Shaq, D-Rob, all these guys ever had, was they were too big and too muscular that shooting the ball was super difficult. I mean, he can shoot low-key for sure. I mean, he's going to shoot better than your average fucking shit talker on the internet, 100%. Yeah, oh yeah, he shoots. He can, and that's what's scary about guys like Durant and Giannis is, like, they are able to shoot. Same with Wembanyama. Like, that's what's scary about guys like him as well. Is he can shoot, and it's usually hard for big men to shoot like that. Imagine a clone league with the DNA. Oh, man, that'd be sick, dude. We're getting to that point pretty soon. We clone that sheep, dude. We have to be able to clone Wilt Chamberlain. Then again, maybe that's not such a good idea if you value having women. He practiced 200 shots a day, would legit become one of the best players of all time. Durant is the most unguardable player. I agree with that. He's just broken. He's just a broken person. Anyways, guys, I got to run some errands and stuff. Ben Simmons is broken. I don't even want to talk about Ben Simmons, but I got to go do some stuff. I appreciate you guys for coming to hang out, and I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace. Sorry to end abruptly. I just didn't realize what time it was, so...